Firstly, I want to commend the Honorable Rayburn Blackmore for his never-ending dedication to this ministry and to the Commonwealth of Dominica. He is always ready to champion the cause of the ministry in the best interest of Dominica. I want to commend the judges for working in trying conditions. I want to commend the registrar and the staff of the registry, the chief magistrate, the magistrates, and the staff of the magistrates court who worked in really trying conditions and whose conditions are still not yet 100% up to par, but they continue to soldier on every day, and I want it to be known that that is, of course, recognized and appreciated. I want to commend the public, of course, for their patience and their understanding. We are aware that it has not always been easy, and we are grateful for your support. We continue to ask you for that support in the months ahead. Bear in mind that the functions of the court extend beyond simply holding cases or court sessions, etc. There are many other functions that the court performs, including payment collections, processing and provision of vital event certificates, processing of certificates of titles, probate deeds, service of documents, just to name a few of the court's functions. So it's not only a matter of court, but there are many other attendant functions that the court performs. It is easy to forget that Hurricane Maria did not only destroy infrastructure. A lot of the damage done by Hurricane Maria was the disruption in services and the interruption of processes, which was and still is as much a hindrance as the actual damage to structures. Nonetheless, the Ministry of Justice has been working tirelessly to fulfill its mandate of ensuring a peaceful and just society, and in ensuring that, of course, in its rebuilding efforts, climate resilience is a key factor. We wish to emphasize that the idea that the court is being neglected is simply not true. Construction is currently ongoing, especially to repair to the criminal division of the court, as well as the civil division of the court, and Mr. Walsh will give more details on that. In the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, the Ministry of Justice, of course, had to relocate several offices, such as the office of the DPP, the company's registry, the magistrates court, etc., just to name a few. Where we have not been able to complete construction, we have sought alternative means, such as renting, in the case of the Charles Pharmacy building, to house the magistrates court, and the building of a temporary civil court at the registry building. Do not imagine, though, that we are satisfied with this. We are currently looking into repairing the Barracoon building, as we are aware that the temporary civil court is by no means ideal. In case of the criminal court, permission has been sought and was given to utilize the Parliament building. But it is important to stress that after the type of devastation caused by Maria, the ensuing delay caused damage to files of both parties, that is the court as well as private attorneys. The only way criminal trials can resume is for the court to assess where it currently is. Therefore, case management has been undertaken, and the registrar will provide more details of that. I will say on this point, though, that while we are aware that there are persons awaiting justice, we know that there are witnesses and victims whose lives are on hold. We know that there are persons on remand awaiting court dates and all the attendant issues that come. It is important not to paint a false picture to the members of the public about what is required to resume criminal trials. The impression that is being given that you can simply start court one day and that the Ministry of Justice is not actively trying to resume court negates all the preparation that the law requires and creates a false sense of what it truly takes to put a criminal trial together. There are, for example, issues of what happens to evidence that has been destroyed during a natural disaster, which is something our legislation does not tidily or in a clear and concise manner provide for. This will, of course, affect how the chambers of the DPP and even defense attorneys, every attorney is able to reconstruct their files. It is also interesting that even when reaching out to the regional and international community on some of these points, we were unable to get any guidance. It means, of course, that we are breaking new ground. Another important point is the role the jury's list plays in the resumption of criminal trials and the steps that the state had to take due to this. Again, the registrar will provide you with details on that. I'm just giving an overview. But I do want you to know that it is a lot more complicated than simply bringing the prisoner into court or bringing the person into court and resuming the trial. Nonetheless, we are not saying that this is fine. We are saying that we know it has been a long wait, but we want to assure the public that we are working to ensure that once court does start, it will be full speed ahead. I will briefly touch on the Magistrates Court. Now, the Magistrates Court located on the Bayfront, we are happy to announce that we have selected a contractor and work will be beginning very soon. As to the measures taken to ensure that the court sit, the Chief Magistrate will give you all the details on that. I want to stress, though, that resilience goes beyond structures. Even rebuilding efforts cannot be done without the utmost care and attention to detail at this time. In other words, we cannot build in the manner in which we used to build. We do want to be in a position as a Ministry of Justice where we minimize our damage or any future damage that could happen. And so, of course, that has to be a factor in rebuilding. We are, of course, willing to ensure that it goes just a bit slower so that we can get the kind of products, the kind of structure that we need. Rebuilding is ongoing, but at the Ministry of Justice, we're also focused on building a better justice system from other angles. For example, we have maintained a full complement of magistrates and have increased the number of magistrates by 2 this year. This will help reduce the waiting time for trials even further and will create better access to justice. By now, you may have heard of the increase of the police force by 99. This is actively being worked on. Of great importance is the creation of the post of Assistant Commissioner of Police. We are happy to report that this position will also be completed and filled very soon. Excuse me. The Ministry of Justice is pleased to announce that the position of Registrar of Titles has been finalized and will be filled before the end of this year. This will lead to an almost immediate reduction in the backlog at the Titles Registry, and the Ministry of Justice is very excited about this, as we are aware of the growing backlog, especially post-Maria. We have never ceased trying to work on this particular issue to ensure that it can effectively be dealt with, and we are happy to report that we are well on our way. There was extensive equipment damage post-Maria, and the printers used for printing certificates of titles had to be sourced and replaced. Despite these challenges, 483 certificates of titles were signed from January 1st to today's date. 657 certificates of titles have been processed during that period. The Ministry of Justice is also undertaking a review of our processes with a view to improving on service and efficiency. We are hoping to complete this review, if not by the end of this year, but early next year.